You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting system. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready, you got one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting system. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Welcome.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the PlayStation Collectors Podcast. This is Season 3, Episode number 10. And tonight, or this afternoon, we welcome Hpok Gaming to the show. Welcome, Hpok.
Thanks for having me on. Pleasure.
Yeah, good to see you, man. Thanks for coming on. So,
Hello,
Hpok,
Hpok.
tell us a little bit about yourself for everyone who doesn't know you.
Yeah, so I'm Hop, or my name's Kieran, but I go by Hop Gaming online. And yeah, I've been playing video games ever since I can remember, and I just am very passionate about them. And like a lot of people in 2019, I started to get into the content creation space. So been really enjoying that and the challenge of that. But yeah, I play PlayStation, Nintendo, pretty much all the systems, and I collect for them as well. So yeah, it's a little about me.
Nice, man. And you're another Aussie, of course.
Yep, Australian bred and born. So in Queensland here in Australia.
Okay. So I hope you got the translator ready.
Yeah.
Oh God, we're not gonna talk about soccer or something, are we? Oh, no.
We can if you want.
No. I'll go make some coffee. I'm out of here.
We can talk about football and debate what football is for an half an hour.
Exactly. Everyone will be thrilled to hear that.
So you say you do content creation. Do you do like YouTube? Do you do Twitch streaming, like live streaming, or what kind of content you make?
Yes. Yeah, so I started on Instagram just taking photos, and then because I come from a little bit of a video background as well, I've started in the last 6 or so months into the YouTube space, and then this year started the Twitch space as well. So yeah, video is where my passion is. So I just really just share like my thoughts and you know, my new pickups and so forth. So and then Twitch, I'm just playing whatever I like. So you know, early days yet, but yeah, it's been really fun. So
That's cool. Yeah, I have I have no approach to Twitch other than whatever the hell I feel like playing at the moment.
exactly.
And I have no schedule. I'm terrible. I'm just totally random.
I'm getting better. I'm doing 2 GeoGuessr streams a week right now, plus obviously the podcast and everything. So I'm getting better on Twitch. I'm getting more consistent. I've just got Hop's Instagram up if you guys want to check it out. He's got some awesome posts on there.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
geez.
is it Hpok Gaming on Twitch and YouTube and everything? It's all
Yeah,
the same?
yeah, pretty much same handle on Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you name it, probably on it in some form. So yeah,
Nice.
Nice.
All the
Dude.
links are in the descriptions too, guys. So be sure to go and give him a follow on all these platforms.
No, I saw you had a couple cozy games in there. Do you actually play cozy games? I do. I'm like,
yeah, I play
feel like-
everything.
we get no love. No one talks about Fae Farm with me or Stardew. Well, I would fix it
I
like
like
Stardew.
my
Fixie likes the cozy games.
A
That's
Farm
true.
was unironically one of my favorite games of last year.
It's a great game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun to play, and then like you put it down, you get in some Resident Evil or some Call of Duty. It's
Mhm.
it's two sides of the coin, but yeah, they're just really good experiences. But each their own.
I like.
No, they're not for everyone.
Well, no, I mean, I guess it's funny because I play like a lot of like high stress, high anxiety. Like I said, I like shmups and I like beat 'em ups and I like games like arcadey games that are really just, like you just they're meant to kill you, so they're very high stress games. So I like those little cozy games too because it's really nice to just be like, oh man, I'm just gonna grow potatoes. I'm cool. I'm not worried about all that right now. It's just so relaxing
Yeah,
to be like, and
yeah,
like
and if
it's
you're
fun.
playing,
Go ahead.
oh, I was gonna say, if you're playing a game before bed, the last thing you want to be is high strung before you're going to sleep. So, watering those potatoes and growing those oranges, that's just the vibe you want when you're going to sleep. So you're just like, wake up refreshed.
You're not wrong. I was studying Indonesia at 4 o'clock last night, watching a YouTube video, and like it was full on stuff. And I went to bed, and all I could think about was what I was doing for like a solid hour, just laying there. And it's like not the right thing to go to bed on. I should have like played solitaire for 10 minutes or something,
Exactly.
Yeah, I just like I don't know what it is about the cozy games, but like it's like hard to explain to someone, be like how excited I am. I'm like, I got like my barn upgraded right before bed. That feels very satisfying. I don't know. It's hard to explain. And then I know tomorrow I'm gonna get some cows. It's gonna be a good day. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's yeah, those games are very I don't know. They're very fulfilling, I guess. Like they like that sense of accomplishment. It definitely I mean they're not trying to stress you out. They're like, it's not Dark Souls, is all I'm trying to say. It's like, oh, here you go, yay, cool, you did it. I don't know, it's fun. They're relaxing.
Yeah.
What I do like about them is if you don't do something, it doesn't really punish you. Like we Stardew, for example, if you miss something, worst case you wait a year and then you get to do it again. And there's so many other things to do. It's not like, oh no, I missed this quest, so now I've locked out of all these things and blah blah blah, and I've ruined my playthrough. No, you do things right or your way. There's no wrong way in that game, which is awesome. Unless you like sell all your items, but I don't know. I'm sure you can still survive if you do that. Sell your fishing rod and your shovel and everything.
Everybody's first playthrough of Stardew should be like 17 years long and be terrible. Like, and you totally relax and not worry about anything. And then if you like the game, you should go back and try to do like everything in like the first year or whatever. Then that's fun, and you're like got to stress a little bit and plan about your time, which I think that's super fun. But yeah, I mean, the first time you play it, it should just be like you should spend a day just being like, what should I name this sheep?
Exactly.
Like, it took me like a week before I even explored the whole farm. I just thought the little part was my farm, and I was in the forest somewhere. I didn't realize it was on my farm. And the first time I played, I got like 1 star from Grandpa after the 2-year elevation or whatever he does, and like the most current playthrough, I got all 4 stars the first time he popped up. So it's like you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I think I skipped like the entire winter the first time I played it. I'm like, you can't farm.
Just sleep. Yeah, I've done that before.
What is this? Next. Like,
Hibernate.
Yeah, anybody got time for that?
Oh god, I've 100% done that. Slept through every day in winter, and then like 4 hours later, I've realized that there's like all these winter exclusive fish and different things that you can only get in winter, and I'm like, oh no, I skipped that.
Yeah, what the heck is that? Dang, I just ordered one from PlayAsia. One of their like exclusives. They have that 3 for $100 deal. Have you seen that? They're doing that. It's like 3 for $100
free shipping and everything.
Yeah, 3 for $100. Anything over 100, you get free shipping, and then there's like a billion discount codes out there, so you can actually get 3 games for like $95. And then I had coins or whatever. I had coins saved up, so I think I got 3. I got 3 of their like limited edition games for like $91 with shipping included. Pretty excited about that. Yeah, I couldn't, and there's a couple. Yeah, what the hell's wrong with me? Sword and Fairy Inn 2. That's the one it is. It's like a inn management game where you have like a little inn and you cook for people and crap like that. Like I said, I'm into games like that. I like that stuff. And then I got like 2 horror games that are Switch exclusives, I think, so far. It's like Saint Maker and then Kwami something. I literally know nothing about them other than they look spooky, and I figured I'd pick them up. So
hard to go wrong with a horror game on the Switch, though.
And and it's a PlayAsia limited edition. So Yeah, there's another one I have they want. It's called like Red Colony Trilogy. Um, that doesn't look very good, but it's got like a lot of fan service, if you know what I'm talking about. So I figured that might be a good reason to pick it up.
Have you guys ever tried it was a PS3 game, I believe. It was a Rune Factory title, Tides of Destiny.
I have it.
No.
It's fun, man. Like it's a very similar concept to Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley or anything. They really focus on the social side of things, and it's just such a fun game.
Rune Factory is a
Check it out.
fantastic series in general. Yeah.
So Rune Factory became Story of Seasons, right?
No.
No, that was Harvest Moon became
Oh, okay,
Story
okay.
Seasons. So, yeah. Rune Factory is its own separate thing. I think
It's a spin-off
So,
of
isn't
Harvest
it?
Moon, but it's like not the same people, I don't think, anymore. I could be wrong about that though. Who the hell made Rune Factory 5? I have it somewhere.
I still need to pick it up because I loved it on the PS3. I need to play the most recent one for sure.
Marvelous, apparently.
Marvelous. Yeah, so I don't think so. Harvest Moon and Rune Factory were connected. Like they were a spin-off. It was a spin-off. But then when Natsumi bought Harvest Moon, it's like totally different now. But the Rune Factory games stayed like true to themselves and are still really good.
Yeah. I really enjoyed them. They're like just a different fantasy offshoot. They also added in the combat, which obviously wasn't in the Harvest Moon or Story of the Season. So yeah, it was a good take on it. And I think they had like monster raising as well, which was cool. So
Nice. Yeah, good fun. I love the fishing in those games. So much fun. So, I just love how the little things you can do, like the recipes you got to make and things you got to craft, and yeah, just so many little things to do. Good fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, guys, our topic tonight is what happens when a game gets delisted. And this comes in with what we were talking about the other day. We've obviously Spec Ops: The Line just recently got delisted. And in the past week, I've never seen so many people pick up a copy of Spec Ops: The Line in my life. Like I've seen 20 people pick this game up, and it's like $100. So my question is, like, what's going on? Like, did people not care about this game when it was on the store, and suddenly now it's delisted? People have gotten FOMO over it, and they're willing to pay 10 times what the price was last week, or they think it's going to be $200 next week or something.
That's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, it's definitely just that fear of missing out on, I guess. Like, you know, we went through it recently with the whole Nintendo store being delisted on the 3DS and Wii U. Like, some of those games that were digital only are gone forever now. So, yeah, I think it's just a fear. And, like, it was a pretty solid game from what I remember. So, yeah, but you're right. It was $10 last week, and now it's $110. So,
yeah
it's
I've been speaking about this game for years. And I think I included it in my rare and collectible PS3 series for the fact that it's a good game and people should own it and play it. Like, it's definitely it's hard to say it's a hidden gem because some people don't like it, and I understand that. But I feel everyone should play that game once because it's a really psychological experience. There's not really many games that have done that. They've taken away the action of the game and put you more into how the protagonist feels after doing certain events. And yeah.
So I've never played that particular game, but I mean, you know, it's you know, this is a similar thing. Remember with DuckTales Remastered? It was like the same thing. They were like pulling it from the stores. They were going to say, and like all of a sudden the physical copy went like through the roof in prices, and everybody was trying to find DuckTales. It was just like completely absurd. And it kind of calmed down and went, you know, back to normal. You can find the game a lot cheaper. But
a quick look at what DuckTales Remastered goes for today. Because that was about a year ago, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably still a desirable game just because it's a good game. But yeah, I think it got like, what was the highest I saw? Probably like $80-$90, I'm gonna guess. And that's probably like 40-50, I would say, right? Last time I looked. But like, it's probably a combination of a couple of things. It's the fact that it got all the attention's on it right now, Figsy. So it's like, can't even tell you how often that happens. Where like everybody, there's all these games that everybody wants, and everybody's got this list of games they want to pick up, but nothing's like necessarily a priority, right? But then all of a sudden, something gets like all this attention on it for one reason or another, and it just becomes like this snowball effect where everybody sees everybody else buying it, and that's when the FOMO really gets out of control. When people are like, what if it actually does become like really difficult to find? And it just, I don't know, it just seems to happen, and it's like these weird trends that happen. So
I think people have to realize when things happen like this, people will start hoarding copies because it's an expensive game. So like there might be 10 times the amount of copies out there that you realize. So-and-so's got 5 copies, so-and-so's sitting on 6, so-and-so's sitting on 3. You know, and they all want top dollar for them because they're like, oh yeah, it's just an expensive game now. But that's not what's going to happen. They're all going to list their copies at the same time, and you know they're not going to sell. They're all going to have to drop their prices, and over time they'll get cheaper. And I just looked up DuckTales Remastered, and there are sold copies for $25.
yeah,
That's cheaper than 2016 prices. That's crazy.
Yeah, if you look in like it was, gosh, I want to say it's like 2018, 19. There was like it spiked like crazy and went way high. Yeah, Blades of Time went up. For Dimension.
Armored Core games have gone up, but I can kind of see why, because there's so many From Software hardcore fans, and From Software haven't got many games, so it makes sense for people to. I love all these games. Let's go buy the other ones. I was the same. You know, I want to make all the From Software games. Elden Ring became Game of the Year. It sort of hit that mainstream audience, and within 6 months, they announced the new Armored Core game, and people just went and bought all the Armored Core games, and they all went up. So it did make sense, you know. But yeah, going from
the newest one's finally on sale.
$100 games is crazy.
I saw the newest one actually on sale for like $40-ish for the first time.
I want to pick that up, man. Like
I want to get it too.
I want to buy it, but I don't want to pay top dollar.
There's like quite a few games like that for me right now. I still want Lies of P. I still want Armored Core. There's a lot of games I'm waiting for that like $30 price point. That's my sweet spot for games. It's so hard to justify spending a lot of money on games when I have a backlog of 1,000 games. I can't even play them in my wildest dreams. I'll never ever be able to play them all. So there's no reason to rush on like these newer titles for me.
Well, if you want to play something like Lies of P, you can play it for $1. So I did. Played it for $1 on Xbox.
Yeah. We also have it like I don't know if it was in the States, but with the new RoboCop game on PS5 and Xbox here in Australia, it got a very low physical print run, and one day it was available everywhere, and then just like a light switch here, it just disappeared overnight. Copies are on eBay, $110, $150 each, and the weird thing is that you could import it from the UK for $60, but everyone was going for that region-specific version as well. So I think it definitely has a lot to do with like FOMO. Like I just want that copy because it's so limited. So it's really crazy how it like just goes up and down. And you know what? The publisher might do another release of it. Who knows? And like it'll drop back down just like DuckTales. It's insane how it just can fluctuate so quickly.
I haven't recalled a publisher doing a reprint of an Australian copy of a game before. We're like our own little market over here. And if you look back on the PS4, there's some JRPGs that you can buy UK copies for $5. Australian copies like $150. It's like, you know, I'm one of those guys that wanted the Australian copy, but now I'm like, I can't justify it anymore. Like, it just doesn't physically make sense. You know, this game isn't worth 20 times more than the UK copy, if anything.
Especially when it's the same game under the hood, you know, like if there's region differences, like, you know, between a lot of times, like in the Japan and the US copies can differ from the PAL versions, but it's the same game. That's why I don't like, just for the little label in the corner, it's like we were prepared to pay and not like double the price sometimes. It's crazy.
I did it when I collected a full Australian PAL PS3 set, but my goal was to get every Australian PAL game. So like I had a goal towards collecting these things. But you know, if you're just a casual collector, you've got a region-free system, and you want as many games as you can for the best value for money, then get the cheapest version. It doesn't make sense. Like,
For me, it all comes down to whether or not there's any DLC or online shenanigans with the regions that I have to deal with. That's the only time I care now. Where if it's like, because I don't want to have to deal with logging into multiple different accounts because that's kind of annoying. So I right now I have like a PlayStation account, a European UK account, and a Japanese account. And I have them specifically because, like, certain games, the DLC will not work on my like my Japanese shmup will not have the DLC if I log in my American account. Freaking stupid as hell. So I need to have 3 accounts to play my games. So that's the only time the region stuff comes up that pisses me off. But for the most part, I really don't care. Although I do care. I mean, I do. I really do care. I don't know why I wanted to have the little E. That means it's better. I don't know what to tell you guys. It makes sense. All right. It just does. I don't know. No, it's just like you guys. There's like some sort of like strange home team thing about it. You just want your region's games. That makes sense.
It's funny you say that. When I first started collecting, I'm like, I hate these Australian labels. They're so big. I want the really nice American or the UK ones. Or check out these ones in Asia. They don't have a rating at all. And I did that for a few years until I'm like, oh no, I like my Australian labels.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just so like I like I said, it used to be worse. Like what used to kill me is that like limited run, especially, like they announce a lot of their releases just way after other regions, and they're the ones that do the ESRB release all the time. So I'll have a game that I bought from Japan a year ago that had English on it that I played and beat it, and it's like I have no interest in that game at all. But then they announced they're releasing the ESRB version. I used to always be like, ah, and I would sell my Japanese copy and replace it with the limited run one or whatever. But like I'm done doing that. Like I've just decided I'm over it. It's not worth the extra effort. I don't care anymore. I'm not going for a full set of limited run games or anything like that. So I'm just keeping the cool Japanese ones. And I honestly think I don't even care if it's like dollar wise that the value is not the same. I like the Japanese games. I think that looks badass. I feel like if you walk into my game room and you see a wall of Japanese games, you're like, this motherfucker plays games. Holy shit, what the hell? What kind of madman has Japanese games? I don't know.
Like Japanese games, and you know what they all are, and all the spines are in Japanese.
I don't know what they are.
Oh, really?
I know like 10 minutes to find the game. I'm like, is it this one? Is it this one? Is that
like memorize? I haven't learned a kanji or anything, but I've like memorized what the spines look like for each title, just looking at my wall for so long.
I have a general idea. Yeah. Like I don't know, because I don't know.
It's why I try and. Oh, I was gonna say that's why I sort my Japanese ones with the English name, so I at least have like I can go. I think I know the one that I want. So
yeah, mine are all in alphabetical order with the Japanese ones slotted in the right spot. I used to store them all by Japanese games are cool. You can for PS3 you can sort them all by the rating, and all the spines will be a different color depending on what rating they are. So it looks really cool when you put them all together like that.
That's what I was just gonna say. I don't even know why, but I'm like, I do them by the color. I have like the blue ones and then I have the green ones, and then I have the black ones or whatever. Like I have the little. I don't know. Yeah, is that what it is? Are those ratings? I don't know.
Yeah, that's the ratings.
I liked it. I think they look cool.
Seriously, look at all the pretty colors.
That's exactly what I mean. That's the type of collector. I did literally tell you last night I bought a game because I thought the spines looked cool. Like that was why I bought it. I was like, look how cool it looks. I don't know why you mean it. I'm not gonna play it. It just looks freaking sweet. Yeah, that's the type of collector I am.
I mean, we go back to our topic. I feel for the day when the physical stores go down, and that's when prices really shoot up. And like, what are we in for then? Like, if suddenly the PS3 and the Xbox 360 store went down, like, what's the future for gaming hold? Not just these games being delisted, but suddenly DLC will stop working and you won't be able to download day one patches. And that's suddenly when our games will become, oh, does this work or do I need another version of it? Like, will the Game of the Year version suddenly shoot up in price, or, what's going to happen then?
Yeah, like we just had it happen with the Nintendo and Wii U and 3DS stores. Like they're gone now, as I said before. So, it's a scary thought, and that's why I'm so like a big advocate for physical games. But like in this day and age, like the PS4 games and PS5, they don't even work. Like the full game's not on the CD, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's quite sad when we risk not truly owning our games, and that's why I think it's quite important for physical preservation in some sense.
It's scary to think, like, how many games are we going to have that are just tokens of a game that used to work? And, oh, this game's really cool, but I didn't download the day one patch, so I can't play it, and all the trophies are bugged, and blah, 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 and you can't play online anymore. And hey, what are you doing?
So it's interesting that you say. So I think that's where, honestly, like for preservation purposes, there'll be a lot of games that actually are preserved more on the digital side than the physical side, because there will be people that did download all those patches and download this and other and all that other stuff. So the thing you got to always remember is that as time goes on, memory gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper, and the sizes get more astronomically ridiculous. And there was a time when having a little micro SD card with freaking 2 terabytes on it was like a ludicrous idea. You know what I mean? Like you could just, but now like you can just like put, on a little tiny SD card, you can put like the entire NES library, Sega Master. It's what you can do with the older systems. That's going to happen eventually with PS2 and PS3. Like in a decade or two, you will be able to put the entire PS3 library on a tiny little tiny little micro SD. You will. And like once you get to that point, and that people will be preserving games more in that way, and then these things that we collect will just be collector's items, the same way that like everything else that becomes collectible, like people don't necessarily use them for the original purpose. Like people collect oil cans from the 20s. People collect old oil cans, not because they want to use the oil. It's because they're collectible and they're old and they're cool. And that's kind of where a lot of the games will go. I feel like it'll be collectible, but not necessarily for the purpose of you won't even play them. It's just for the purpose of collecting them. Like for the reason people collect old glass bottles, people collect anything you can think of. Yeah. So in some ways, there will always be the draw for the authentic experience with a lot of games, because if you're talking like PS1, PS2, like the pre-patch generations, that stuff will always work. We don't have to worry about that stuff. But like for PS3, PS4 games, other than the ones that actually have the content on the discs, which I'm going to say is what, 40% of the library, I'd say, like conservatively. I'm going to say less than half of the games probably function on the disc. And that's basically 80% of indie games and like 4% of AAA games. Like no AAA games will work, none of them. Like even little like Stardew Valley, for God's sakes, that version on that disc is like 37 versions old. It is not the same game at all as what's available now when you install that game. So I don't know. It's going to be a lot different.
With that in mind, Joe, and let's assume that does happen, and you can get any game online and play it, which I feel for the PS3 will be hard, but hopefully it happens at some point. But I can definitely see like every Wii game being available to download, and every 360 game, etc. But let's assume that's the case, and these games do become collectibles like that. I feel like it'll be like records, where 90% of records are worth nothing, but then there's that 10% of that are worth something. So any game today that's worth $10, $15 or less, it's not going to be worth anything in the future. Yeah, like I'm selling games at the moment. These games are selling to people that want to buy them. The only games I'm selling to collectors are expensive games, because people that want to play games buy the cheap versions. If it's a weird variant, it's going to a collector into someone's collection. Or if I'm selling a cheap game that it's like a weird sport game or something, the only people that are buying are collectors, because people don't want to spend $40-$50 on an old PS3 game just to play. That's not a thing. It's collectors putting it in their collections. So I really feel like if this is the case, shovelware will just really become shovelware. Like, yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Them, right? But
So it'll be like the Atari, where like
Yeah.
90% of it's worth nothing and 10% of it's actually really valuable.
exactly. And there'll be this big divide between them.
Yeah. The cream of the crop will rise to the top and the rest will just.
Yep.
Yeah, I could see that. But it also depends on like if the quality of games keep going down, then I don't know. Maybe some of these games will be more sought after in the future because, like I said, like I don't know. I feel like the quality across all entertainment has gone down in the last 5 years across movies, film, TV, music, video games. Video games maybe be the only place where there's just so many people doing it. Like I don't know. Music's another one. It's hard to say. People say music's not as good, but there are more bands out there than you could ever listen to in your entire life, and
More
there's
variety than ever
more
before.
amazing. Like yeah, there's like having I like listening to metal, and I can't even freaking attempt to keep up with the amount of bands that exist. Forget it. It's just there are 1,000 new metal bands that released that video today. And there'll be 1,000 new metal bands that come out next week. It's just absurd. Like I can't. It's just that's how much stuff there is. So it's hard to say no one's doing good stuff. There is, but like it's just I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like it's overwhelming how much content there is, and so it feels like it's all crap. You can't get to the good stuff because you have to wade through a sea of shit. you drown before you reach the island of goodness. Does that make sense?
I want to counter that. You mentioned that video games is on the decline. I feel like last year in particular was an amazing year for video games. We had so many big games come out, and this year there's so many announced. I know we get a lot of like, I hate the whole, let's do a remaster, let's do a remake, let's not make a new IP. Let's do The Last of Us remastered. Let's do The Last of Us 2 remastered. You know, like I hate that. Especially remastering a game that came out 5 years ago. Like, come on. But there are, people doing new IPs and people putting out amazing experiences. And I feel like we've passed that whole stage of people just putting out broken games and then patching them later, because the gaming industry, the fans have pushed back, and companies like CD Projekt Red lost money doing that. So companies are all in it for the money, so they realize they have to put out games that work from day one and different things like that. It's almost like movies and TV shows have a completely different audience to video games these days, and 100%
way bigger video game audience. Video games destroys those industries as far as popularity goes right now. Yeah. It destroys them. And I think there are more good games than ever. And I feel like I've said this before too, like people are pickier with their money now. And like we've waded through all the bad so much. We've gotten so much crap that, like I said, it's like, there are too many options for people. And like if they're not producing quality content, like they're going to suffer. Like these companies aren't going to be able to just like expect people's money anymore. And like I feel like a lot of these brands especially think that they can just sell their games on their brand name, and I don't think that works anymore. I don't think so.
Well, look at Ubisoft.
Some companies can, but
Prince of Persia, actually a good game, and it's losing money because Ubisoft just expected people to buy it because it had the word Ubisoft and Prince of Persia on it, but it didn't work. You released a game that was not a full game, and you charged full price for it. So, people aren't happy. It's disappointing. It's a series that I grew up loving, and when I heard that they're redoing the series, I got excited for it. But they're not going to do another one now. Of course not, because they lost money on the one that they've just put out.
I just think they charge too much. Like if that was a cheaper price point, I feel like I'm not buying into that day one. No way. Not a 2D Metroidvania versus $50. Like, I didn't even do that for Metroid Dread. I waited until that was cheaper too. And like, that is freaking Metroid. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't buy in on that right away. I don't know. I just think that's crazy for them to do that. And I also, Prince of Persia games, like, you know, they set a pretty high standard for PS2 games. They were like pretty beloved games. And like, why didn't they just make an, you know, and they were the ones that they led to Assassin's Creed, right? That's basically a game in Assassin's Creed. So I understand that Assassin's Creed kind of replaced Prince of Persia, but if you're going to revive the franchise name, you might as well make some sort of 3D action game in that vein, I would think. It's like, if it's the same, like, nobody wants a new Devil May Cry that's a 2D Metroidvania game. Not Devil May Cry fans don't want that. Metroidvania fans want that. We like Metroidvania.
Yeah, that was going to be my next point. There's a group of people that would like that, but it might not be the fans of the people that have that series.
Correct. It's like Animal Crossing fans would not really love a Metroidvania.
Well, let's look at the same thing with Castlevania. Castlevania did the whole 3D action thing, and the fans didn't like it. You know, the Lords of Shadows got heaps of hate when it first came out on PS3. They're good games, but if you're a Castlevania fan, they're not what you want, you know.
Yeah, it's a bit hard because, like, I picked up it and I think it's a fantastic game. And in a way, it kind of goes back to its roots of the original. But I think a lot of people focused on the PS2 entries, like you said. They're the ones that are beloved by the fan base. So everyone was expecting that. And when they've delayed the remake of the Sands of Time, that's just been in the background for a while. It's a hard sell. And like I had people say to me, oh, it just looks not great compared to like something like Last of Us 2 or, you know, another modern gen game. It's a very hard sell, but I think I'm a firm believer, like, you know, playing the gameplay. And I think that's what the demo is really for, to try it out. But I think, like, you're right, it is a hard sell just based on the looks alone. And I think and they also risk by doing just another 3D entry of like people going, you know, it's just not the same, or they're just rehashing what they did, like they with Assassin's Creed got to. So it's a difficult line to tread, and like that's why I think it's a hard one to call, because if they do something different, it's too far away. If they do the same thing, it's too much the same. So,
Oh, but you brought up the point that people compared it to The Last of Us 2, and it's an unfair comparison. I feel like when you charge the same price, it is a fair comparison, because it's the same price as a AAA experience. So if you're buying a $60 game, you should get a $60 experience, which isn't, for me, it's not 30 hours. It's at least, you know, 50 plus 100 hours, maybe even playing this game for months on end. Like, if I don't want to do that, then I'll wait until it's on special or buy a $30 game or something. And we've become so accustomed in the gaming scene to get money out of a $60 game that you almost expect it these days.
And I think there's a lot of people who just look at those. Like, I love old school design and 2D sprites and 2D action games and simple games. I love that stuff. I live for it. Like, I could play Metroidvanias to the end of time, but I do think that there's a lot of people who just, there's some certain genres, they're just over it, dude. Like, they don't want to play any more Metroidvanias. They don't want any more freaking roguelites. They don't want any more, like, I feel that way about like deck building games. When I see cards and deck building games, I'm like, I'm out. I'm gone. I'm just not interested in this genre. I don't care if it's the best game in the world. Like that game Inscription. I've heard it's fantastic. Looks so good. It's won awards. I guess it like won Game of the Year or some shit once or something, right? It was like, I don't know. It supposedly is the greatest thing, but I'm out. I'm like, I'm not interested. And like Binding of Isaac's like my favorite thing in the world, dude. They have that Bumbo game, which is like an offshoot game. And I was like, oh, look, it's freaking cards. I'm like, I'm out. I don't want nothing to do with this. So that's like my favorite franchise in the world. And I still have nothing to do with that. So anyway, my point is like, I feel like that's how, you know, there's a whole, I think the younger generation specifically, they're not all about those games like that. They look at those and they're like, this is boomer shit, man. I don't want this. I want to play Liza P, dude. That's what I want to play. I want to play these new AAA titles that look incredible. So And I don't blame him. Like, did you see like Grand Blue Fantasy? I was watching Joel play that on Media Glitches. You know, holy crap, does that game look good? Wow, it's just so gorgeous, and that's the same price pretty much. You know, you can play that. I don't know. You can see that
If
being a
you're a
lot more
kid today,
appealing.
there's so much more choice too. Like you're seeing all these amazing looking things. Why would you want to play some little 2D thing that looks like it's from the 80s? You know,
Because you're
There's-
cool. Because you're a cool little kid. You want to play the cool old school. No, you don't have to play that.
Yeah, but you're not cool if you go into school and you're telling your friends that. That's not how kids would treat kids these days. You know, we all know what kids are like.
Yeah, they don't talk about their skins on the Fortnite.
Exactly.
And they're all dabbing on each other and being sus. I don't know. Taylor Swift or something.
GZ said Powell's devs said their roadmap includes a card game within 6 months.
Sure. Yeah, and you know what? In the way I feel about like I'll play Metroidvanias to the end of the day. There are people who want to play card games to the end of time. They love them to death. They love Magic. They love Pokemon. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's your jam. That's your jam. I'm not saying do what you do, but like I just don't. That ain't for me. You know what I mean? But like I like point and click adventures, and I'm sure there's a whole lot of people who nope the fuck out of those immediately. No way. It's like how I visual novels. Like I don't play those. I don't play those unless they're supposed to be the best there ever was. Like I'll play like the ones that they're like, House of Fata Morgana is supposed to be the shit. I'll play that one. You know what I mean? I'll play Kanad or whatever it is. You know what I mean? I'll try out the best ones, but that's it. It's the same way I feel about a lot of things. Like I don't want to get into anime too much because there's too much of that shit, but I do want to. I like the real good stuff. You know what I mean? I like that. I just don't want to watch the rest. I don't want to watch any B tier shit. I want all S tier, not even A tier. I want the S tier, and that's it.
And I guess when you're playing games these days, you almost have to pick like that because there is so much out there. Let's say you're a JRPG fan. If you played JRPG starting today and you didn't do anything for the rest of your life, you're not going to play them all. Like there's already more games than you can play. So you've got this big backlog and there's all these games out there you want to play. You have to be selective of what you pick. And suddenly you might get 50 hours into a game and you don't love it. Like, do you finish that game or do you move on to something else?
Yeah, like the JRPG front, I remember, like, that's my favorite genre of games. Back on the PlayStation 1, you had probably, like, they were definitely out there, but you had, like, Final Fantasy and, like, a handful of others. That was it. So now, like you said, there's so many out there, and to try and even attempt to play even a quarter, you would be there for years.
Your mic keeps going out, man.
Oh, is it? Oh,
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you'd be there for years. So, yeah, it's absolutely crazy how much we're spoiled for choice these days.
Especially compared to these guys. North America got some cool JRPGs on PS1. We got like Final Fantasy 6 to 9, and that was it. Vagrant Story. They got a couple more, but like compared to the US library, it's very sad.
Yeah, we did get a lot of dope JRPGs for sure. But yeah, we're eating good right now. This month is a good month, man. I'm telling you, we got Persona 3 Reloaded, Grand Blue Fantasy, and then what's that other little one coming out? What's that other? Oh, that's right, Final Fantasy's coming out too. God, man, like I'm still over here trying to finish Final Fantasy 16. Like shit, like the kid who didn't do his homework until the last minute, trying to catch up with it all, and like. I don't know. I really want to play Grand Blue Fantasy before Final Fantasy, but I don't know if I'll be able to now. Oh God, maybe I'll call out of work. Maybe
I want to play Star Ocean, and like I'm feeling like I mightn't buy Final Fantasy until it's cheap at this point because there's just so much out there that I want to play, and it's not going anywhere. And they put out Game of the Year version for the first one, so do I just wait and play it with the DLC? Because I didn't replay it with the DLC for the first one because I finished it. I don't like playing games twice, especially when I've got such a big backlog and so many games out there.
I feel like the Star Ocean remake is actually going to be a pretty collectible game. Like I feel like that's going to be like on the Switch. Like, I don't think it got a massive print run. So it'll be collectible on the Switch, although it has a download code. So just keep that in mind if you do buy it on the Switch. I prefer with the PlayStation versions. But yeah, like if you look at like the actual new Star Ocean game, not the remake of the old one, the new one that just came out before that. I mean, you can get that thing for like $15-20, no problem, all day long. But the actual remake, it's still holding its value. It's not going down. And like, I just have a feeling that game's going to hold its value. I just don't see it going down. So yeah, I pick it up. What I'm trying to say, even if you're like not really like, if you're on the fence about it, I would pick it up for that reason.
Man, Cyrus nails it on the head. Like he said, if he tried to play all these games, it would take 41 years, and he still picks up more than 365 games a year. So it's like, you know, we talk about it as collectors, and it's two different hobbies. We're collectors, and then we're gamers first. So like, when I'm buying games, I either buy it for the collection or I buy it because it's a game I want to play, and I have totally different criteria on what I buy for that. You know, the collections I'd have to be perfect condition, and you know, I'm usually waiting for a good price, but I'm not sitting here waiting for a price drop. Where games I want to play, I'll wait for the price drop because you know they're usually new games that have just come out and different things like that.
Yeah, I more often than not, I'll keep the PS4 copy sealed, and then I'll play it on PS5 or Switch, or God forbid it, I even buy it digitally. Especially some indie games, man. Like some indie games on like literally, you buy the PS4 copy, it's like $50 to get this damn thing. Then you go on the Steam or PSN, it's like $2. You want to play it? It's $1. You want it's free. Fuck it, just take it. Just take it. I'm like, what the hell? I just paid $50 for this goddamn copy
and waited 2 years for it.
Yeah, shit, man. Like, well, like the perfect example of that is I want that game, The Messenger. I really would love a copy of that game, but it's so expensive, and then it's like $5 to play it, to get it digitally. It's like $4.99 all the time on sale. I'm like, or do I pay $150 to have it on a cart? I'm like, I don't know, man. That's when it gets to be real hard. Like that's
but is
tough.
it a game that you really want to play, or do you just want it for your collection?
Both. Well, I already bought it digitally, like so I could play it. Like, I mean, it was $5. I'm not sitting there sweating that decision. For $4.99, sure, I'll buy it and play it that. But I still would love to have it for the collection. But I don't know. That's always one of those ones where I hope and dream that someday I'll actually find a deal somewhere and but it won't happen. It's one of those things where it's like that's not the type of game that some mom's going to be selling in 5 years in a yard sale. Like nobody has the fucking Messenger. It's like the games are like the games that I want are games that only collectors buy. Like you said, they're not like when you were talking about selling certain variants and stuff. Like it's not like your average person who's going to buy this stuff. This is collector stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And that stuff takes 10 times longer to sell as well because your buying audience is so much littler. And like I get offers of low balls on these games all the time, but I can tell the person the person trying to buy it looks up all the other copies and they're like $10, and my version's $40, but it has some rare sticker on it with DLC that isn't in these other versions. It probably doesn't even work anymore, but because of that, it's a collectible game. You know, someone out there that want it.
Yeah, and they don't even know, and they're just like bidding on it because they have no idea exactly. Yeah. So, what do you like? Collect for the most, Tom? You say you do collect physically.
Yeah, I'm mainly, my largest collection is probably the Switch. I'm nearing about 550-ish games now, but I also collect for all the systems, so Nintendo DS, 3DS, PlayStation 5, 4. So yeah, Nintendo Switch, like to go back to your point before about buying games day one, I normally buy Switch games because they're the cheapest at release point 99% of the time here. I don't know what's like in the States, but Australia, they just release it here 69 retail, and then they'll go back up to 90 and they'll just stay there, and they're just trapped. So there's the odd like third party that will go up and down, but so Nintendo's where it's at, just because the Switch is like sort of the console I dreamed of as a kid, like the one you play on the TV, pick it up, take it on the bus or whatever. So that's the main reason I do for that. But I still love like my PlayStation and like the what do you call it, retro games, 64 and all that. So
Yeah, dude, I
think
collect
part of that
Switch
reason in
PlayStation.
Australia is they don't produce as many games anymore. So like I noticed with let's use Klonoa on the Switch when it got released. My local store got one copy, and that's how it was in each store. And there's like 1,000 EB game stores in the country. So does that mean there's 1,000 copies? And that game, once it was gone, I feel like that got a reprint. But the prices were just from day one. They were for $30-$40 cheaper than EB games. And I feel like that's also got to do with the way things work in Australia. So if a scalper, someone who wants to sell it, takes it and they sell it on eBay, well, they're paying 13-14% fees. They're paying $10 postage. So really they're making $5-10 more. It's all these extra fees that you have to pay, and that just pushes the prices up because that sucks.
It's a gamble because I've definitely had the opposite where I've picked it up at full price. 2 weeks later, it's $30, and you're like, oh god damn. But it's the risky run. Like it's just especially for Nintendo, it's too variable to miss out sometimes. I don't pick up every single thing, but like definitely like the Klonoas, the all the ones that are like you think are going to be uncommon or low print runs, I definitely pick up. So
Atlas titles and NIS America and different things like that. Even for Nintendo, you can buy AAA games at full price and they hold their value. Like you can buy a Pokemon game day one, it's always going to be worth what you paid for it, which is crazy to me, but it's true. Like,
Mario Kart is what, still 80, 89, 95 here.
Wild. Still $90. Like what?
And people buy it.
People are still buying it. So that's what Nintendo have done, and they control their own market. Like, you find PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam have the same game most of the time, but then Nintendo will have an exclusive game. So it's because they're the only ones that have it, they control the prices. And if they don't want to sell it cheaper than $70, then they don't sell it cheaper than $70. The way they release things is they put out enough so it sells out, but the prices don't go too crazy. And then they put out more, and then they release more. And it's almost like they've done this for so long that they just know what to do these days. And they do. The Nintendo control the market on their games. If it's a Nintendo IP exclusive, it's retail price. Like it's rare to see it even $20 cheaper. It's crazy.
Yeah, if they could only get their fucking online service all squared away, they'd be good. That's the only thing they suck at. I was just gonna say, and you know what? You can always trust like Nintendo games are gonna be quality and they're not full of bugs and they work, which you can. But you can also say that their online service has been shit for the entire life cycle. I can't remember I got Mario Maker 2, and I'm like, time to play online. This is, oh my god, is this awful? Like it was so broken and terrible.
It's a great game though, single player.
Oh, it's a great game, yeah. But like when you try to play multiplayer, and everyone's like, I'm like, what is this? What year are we in right now? What is happening? Dial up. What is going on here?
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see with the next console if they learn from what the other competitors are doing and seeing, how major their online spaces are. But the online spaces for consoles has been big since the 360 age. So Nintendo I love them, but they're so frustrating on that part. It's just like, how have you gotten this so wrong for so long? They just don't seem like, they seem very hesitant. And I get because they're a very family friendly company and they want to restrict kids from talking to potential adults. So, there's that aspect, but PlayStation, Xbox have that too. So I hope that hopefully with the next Switch successor, they can take some learnings and, launch a decent online system.
Or let Discord integrate with it or something at least.
No, I don't trust Discord. I got a follow up from my account. My account has been deleted. Thanks, Discord. Piece of shit. I got hacked. And a month later, I got a reply from Discord support. We've deleted your account.
Oh, thanks. That's very helpful.
So I actually don't know who owns my old server now. It's still there. My account isn't there anymore. It doesn't have a server owner next to it. But we have made a new server. If you guys haven't joined, the link is in the description. We move on.
Anyway, so like I don't know. So one thing they've been rumoring that they might be bringing GameCube to the online service, and part of me is like that's cool, but part of me honestly would rather them actually just remaster and port games from the GameCube onto the Switch physically. I would rather honestly have that, like, you know, because like you know how everybody wants the Wind Waker and Twilight Princess like onto the Switch. Like I would rather have that on a cart than be told that's coming to the online service, because having it on the online service, that doesn't excite me the same way, because that's like, you know, I can already emulate those games and download those games and play them on my Steam Deck if I want to or whatever. It's not hard to do. So just like telling me that I have digital access to them,
But that's a good point, Joe. Like we're just saying that we want online. If the online does go, are we suddenly going to lose Nintendo Switch physical games? Are they going to? We're not going to release this physically. It'll just be online, and that's what Xbox do. So maybe we should be on the side of they don't do online yet. Let's keep it that way.
Well, that's what I mean. We won't get like compilation games anymore because they're just going to all be on the online service. And that'll be it. Like, and that's kind of cool, but I don't know, not really. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't mind getting a cart that has every Kirby game on it, from Game Boy, Nintendo, up to Super Nintendo, whatever. Like all the Kirby games on it. But that's going to be all on the online service now. So why would they do that again? You know what I'm feeling? I'm trying to say, like
Mario collection that they put out. Why would they put one of those out again if they can just put one out digitally and still charge the same price? Because Nintendo know that people buy their stuff. They don't have to,
Dude, they could put freaking a Hyrule thing on an Enema and it would sell out. There's people buy it. There's Zelda stuff. You could
pre-order that one.
You could put a Zelda logo on anything. You could like freaking. Like
they could reskin the King Kong game from last year.
They could put on the day after pill, and people would be collecting that shit. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what it is, people will be buying it.
As Ubisoft say, we want people to get used to not owning what they bought.
Yeah, they do, and that's what I mean, and that's why That's why I'm like not as excited for these online services as maybe other people. I am excited for Nintendo releasing new Wavebird controllers. Those are cool because like I have actually. I'm good. I have my actual Wavebirds, but I like that idea.
Yeah,
but at the same time, there's a whole bunch of companies like making third-party ones too that are really cool too. So I'm like, don't know if that's really that big of a deal to me anymore either. I don't know. How do you feel about it? Would you rather like see? I'm for it, like all the way up to the GameCube. Like I think it's fine up to like I don't want an N64 game compilation. I'm good, dude. Like you know what I mean. Like those are so easy to emulate, like all that stuff. But like once you get up to GameCube, like that starts to take up some hard drive space. And like also that's where I feel like some of those games I wouldn't mind seeing them get like the HD. Like even though that was an HD console technically, but you know what I mean, like upscaled a little bit, maybe some quality of life features. I don't know. What do you think about it?
I'm probably biased because I'm probably biased because I am a collector, but physical all the way. Like you said, just to see like the quality of life things, like faster load times potentially. Metroid Prime Remastered is like a one where they added the second stick, like something so simple can enhance a game so much. But like in saying that, I'd rather them put them on the online service than just ignore them as a whole, which Nintendo, have a record of doing, is like, hey, we're not interested in this right now. Sorry, like that's it. So, you do have a lot of games that are trapped on the console, like Fire Emblem, up until the announcement, Paper Mario, Star Fox. They're just all on that system and not available. So I'm all for like availability in any form. But obviously physical would be the preference. But
yeah, so I feel like they're gonna use it as a push to sell the online service with their new console. Like they'll probably like have it be part of it with that. Is my guess. But like, I don't know. I'm also sick of buying accessories for Nintendo. Like, what are they gonna make me buy Wii controllers again too? When they're gonna start doing that again too?
Yeah, you see all those N64 controllers behind you. You're gonna have to rebuy all of them. I'm sure of it. They won't make those controllers compatible with the new system.
I mean, it's Bluetooth. It should. Those bastards. If they do that, I'll be really upset. But I could see them doing that. Joy-Cons ain't working.
Infrared, guys.
I'd be shocked that the new system's not going to use Joy-Cons. It's not going to use Joy-Cons. So they might have compatibility with Joy-Cons for backwards compatibility. Maybe they might, so you can play WarioWare or whatever. But like, they're going to have new types of a new interface for the, because they want to sell you stuff. You know they do. So it'll be like, I don't know. I just want controllers, dude. Like I don't want. I'm sick of gimmicks. I hated the motion controls. I don't like Joy-Cons. Like, first of all, I'm a giant. I have massive hands. What the hell are these tiny little controllers? What the heck are you doing? These things are like I don't know. What is this? A school for ants? You know what I'm saying? Like that's like this is tiny. I know. I can't they literally cramp my hands, and it's just mad. I hate the Joy-Cons, and the drift sucks. And like even when you're holding the Switch, it's like I need like grips and attachments on it to play the damn thing. I hate them. So I just want a controller. Like I just wanted to make, and that's the other thing too. It's like you end up just buying controllers anyway. So great. And like I don't play like 1-2 Switch. Do you guys play that? No. Do you play ARMS all the time? Like nobody needs these Joy-Cons except for like a couple games here and there. Like sorry for Mario Party.
Yeah, first time I've ever actually used my Joy-Cons was playing Mario Party the other day, and I've owned a Switch for like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah.
Every other game, I needed a real controller because I'm a gamer who wants to play games. Sorry.
Yeah, I just don't like that gimmick.
I was about to run in and.
I never even knew that.
Yeah, I was about to run.
Buttons on the side of the Joy-Con.
I was going to run in and defend the Joy-Con, but then when you said that was the first time, I was like, when was the last time I detached the Joy-Con from my Switch? I cannot remember. So, duly noted, I'll take the L.
I'm sure if I had a Switch when I was 8 years old, I would use them every day. But I'm 30. That's not how I play games anymore. So, and I don't even like using... You can get an attachment for the Joy-Con. I don't like using that. I have to use, an actual controller that's big. It's like an Xbox controller, and they're cheap too. You can get these wired for like $20. Yeah, I have to use these to play games. I can't play Zelda just on the Switch itself, or on. You can get like a little black attachment for the Joy-Cons. I can't use it. It's too small.
Yeah.
I was reading today that Twitter's going crazy that Nintendo Direct hasn't been announced, and they've done a Nintendo Direct every month for February for like the last 5 years or something. And I read a comment that made me laugh. This guy's like, yeah, Nintendo can't wait to announce Mario goes to the fridge and gets a glass of milk so it can sell 60 million copies. I mean, at this point, right?
I love direct speculation. It's just like, oh yeah, it's happening now. It's happening now. No, I swear they just watch it like, all right, let's calm down a bit. Let's do it.
It's like the whole people on Twitter who were spiking up the Grand Theft Auto 6 announcement like 5 years before it actually happened. I've seen that trending every single day, or the same people that make Bloodborne trend every single day. Like, come on, no one got a life at this point.
Donkey's video on GTA 6 was hilarious. Just like the timeline of like the 3 years of people going, it's happening. We saw a 3 in this advertisement over here. So funny.
Yeah, and there's going to be more crazy fake news that we're going to get in the next year or year and a half until the game actually comes out. Like, it mightn't come out till December 2025 at this point. So, that's a lot of time between now and then.
Let them cook, I say. Let them cook. I know we're all eager, but like, if anything, like Cyberpunk and like all the the releases that have just been broken, it just shows that give developers time they need, and like it'll get it out. And I know it's the publishers that push them at the end of the day, but like, I like the old Miyamoto's saying a bad game is forever. I can't remember. Bad games.
Yeah, it's
a delayed
Whatever
game
it is.
can be good.
delayed until it's released, but a bad game's a bad game forever. And like, if you ask me,
And, like, look
what
how
I think
long-
of Cyberpunk, my experience is the day one experience. Sorry, I don't care that it's a good game
Exactly.
today. I had shit time playing it, and I spent good money on it.
Yeah, I only picked up Cyberpunk again 3 months ago, and it's amazing now, but like it was ingrained in my head. I'm like, that choppy experience, the world breaking immersion, like that was ingrained in my head. Same with No Man's Sky, like just the empty world. It's an amazing game now, and like all credit to them for sticking with it. But like those experiences are ingrained, especially with like this so fast moving gaming world at the moment. A game will be gone in 2 weeks, like out of like someone's mind. So, getting it right the first time is really really important. And I think, give Rockstar the time they need. They need to just make sure it's up to the scratch quality that they're known for. So yeah, give them the time. I say, even if we need to wait till 2026, yeah, it sucks, but like I'd rather have a more complete experience.
I feel like GTA 6 is too big to fail at this point. Like, they're putting billions of dollars in this game. They're going to have the best people in the world all working together on this thing. They're going to have a team of people who won't let it be released until it is, the best game that's ever been put out. Blah blah blah. Because they have all, this is not the most expensive video game, but the most expensive piece of media ever produced. So more expensive than any movie that's ever come out or anything. Like, if you've got the money, surely you can hire the people to make the product right. Like, they should know before it comes out what reaction they're going to get.
Yeah, so like I've said this before too, like it'll be a financial success no matter what, even if the game is trash, just because everyone's going to like buy it and pre-order it in day one. It'll be a massive like out of the gate thing. And like they're one of the few places in the entertainment industry where I think people still have good faith is in that franchise. Like, people will buy that day one, and I feel like most other people, for me at least, I don't know what everybody else, I'm in a wait and see mode for almost every game that comes out. I'm in a wait and see. Like, no matter how high, even Final Fantasy VII. Well, I'm pretty hyped for it, and I'm pretty confident that's going to be good. But like, there's still a part of me that I'm like, hey, what if it's all broken and it's trash? What if it sucks? What if the frame rate blows? What if I want to wait for the DLC? What if it's way shorter than it was, or it's just not really that fleshed out? Or what if the story sucks? What if they're like literally change the story really badly and upset everybody? Like, things happen all the time, and I'm in a wait and see mode for everything that comes out. Like, nothing. Anytime they announce something new comes out, I'm hesitant to be excited about it these days, because it's just very rarely does anything deliver. Very rarely. Not all, like some things do. Like I said, I feel like the first Final Fantasy game was fantastic. I'm pretty confident this new one's going to be amazing. But I just, like I said, that GTA will be a financial success just because it's going to ride the wave of good faith from GTA 5. Like, there's no way. It would have to they would have to put out like 2 or 3 bad GTAs to get people to stop buying that game. It's like Saints Row.
Well, they've already put out one bad GTA, the trilogy, so
yeah.
We've already forgotten about that.
That's true.
But like no one's talking about the last release they did was bad because of how big of a company they are,
That was just like a money grab remaster thing too. That's not like a really like a good representation of what they are or what they're doing. Like, that might as well
is what you look at.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's really their last game.
and it was just Red Dead Redemption. That game sold 50 million copies alone. Like, it's one of the biggest games of the last 10 years. But because of GTA 5, it's overshadowed, which is pretty crazy.
What the heck? He said that GTA 6 will not have a physical release.
I feel like that might be true.
Yeah. It'll have a $300 collector's edition that comes with, like, bought some fentanyl, a freaking ankle bracelet, and the download code. Yeah.
They'll play it off as a joke and put in like an iTunes gift voucher, but that's the download code.
That'll be disappointing if it doesn't have a physical.
I could see it though. Like, I'm not surprised to hear a game coming out next year won't have a physical copy, because right now it's like a game gets released and you ask, has it got a physical? Imagine asking, has a AAA game got a physical 10 years ago? That's a stupid thing to ask. Of course it's got a physical. But today it's like, well, does it need to have one? Like, how many do we actually produce? Because 95% of people are buying it digitally, and that's facts. Like, there's collectors out there, but most people are buying their games digitally these days.
Yeah,
I feel like a game like that could really, really kill physical media for AAA type games. Yeah.
It's hard because, like, also the collectors are probably the most vocal ones as well. So, like, we're going to be the ones complaining, like, oh, hey, there's no physical release on this one. Like, bring us a physical. But, like, they're probably seeing the data of how many people actually buy the digital versus us who buy the physical.
Yeah. So we are by far, I'd say, we individually are the biggest spenders. We spend more on games, but we are just like overwhelmed by the amount of casuals who buy a random game here or there. So we, there may be 10,000 of us that spend $1 million, but if there's 10 million of them that pay $5, doesn't matter. They win. Like, that market is who they cater to. And that's how capitalism works. It's just and I'm actually like okay with that, because that is a logical, reasonable way to run businesses, and I feel like that's how businesses should be run. A lot of people these days, I don't understand the business decisions they make at all. So at least that does financially make sense. But that doesn't mean that they can't keep doing physical releases. Like, we've had this conversation like a million times now, but like there will always or can always be like a room for a physical collecting market, as long as they're willing to make consoles to play the games. They can do small print runs or put them through certain companies or something like that. Or just, they could have just the collector's editions for $200 that they sell.
Yeah.
What I mean?
It'll be interesting to see if the collector's editions ones do become the physical version. Like, that's why it's always an odd choice to me when a collector's edition doesn't have a physical game. And I know why. It's because they want to not alienate the digital console owners. But the people that want that are the people who want to hoard the physical items. So is that the business strategy moving forward? Like, you buy your Steelbook edition, which is a collector's edition, and you have your Uber, ultra collector's edition that comes with the statue, the disc, and all that as well. Like, that could be an avenue, and maybe they can get a gauge on how many people buy them, and they can limit it to however many runs. But then you drive up scarcity and all that. Everyone wants one because they don't have it, so it's a difficult line to track. So.
That's kind of what they do for PC gaming. Like, PC gaming, you have the digital version, but they do put out collector's editions, and most of the time it's just the download code. So
what if they just start putting the games on a USB stick, just the actual data? You know what I mean? So
what's the difference? We're not playing them.
Exactly, and just saying, hey, at least you own it. Now you own the data. And then, what wouldn't be cool is you could even patch your USB stick to the latest patch and have it, and just see, at least have that comfort of knowing that you have your freaking game if the service goes down and you want to install it on your hard drive. That'd be cool.
But I can see them not wanting to do that, because you could
install it on your friends.
Yeah, I can see why they won't do that. But that's cool, Joe. Like, that sounds like a cool idea to me. It concerns me with what Joe brought up before, how like 5% of us are spending the most money, and then there's that 90% that will spend that $5. But what blows me out is how younger people, or I'm probably stereotyping, but how people will spend $60 on a digital game without even thinking about it. Like, games are just worth that amount. Like, a brand new game's worth $60. But to me, I'm buying it for the physical media that, this is worth $60 because I'm getting the experience today, and in 2 weeks it's still worth $40, and then I can turn around and sell it. And that's how I can see the money. But these people, like, it's a $60 game. I buy it day one. It's on my console, and then what happens when they sell the console to get their PSN, which happens very often these days. It's crazy to me that I used to work in a pawn shop, and I had people coming in selling me their console, and they're like, it's got 20 games on it. What's it worth? Like, it's worth the same if you had no games on it, because that's not how it works.
I'm gonna reformat it as soon as you leave.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not even going to look in your profile. I'm resetting it before I look at any of those games.
Yeah, because they don't understand. It's like, yeah, and all you got to do is change your password, and I can't play your games anymore, pal. Get the hell out of here with that. That's not, I don't know shit. Like, people do the same. I've seen the same thing with 3DSs all the time. People are like, it's got all these games on it. I'm like, nah, dude, it's got nothing I want. I don't know.
Do you guys like to play the Figsy quiz?
I was just gonna ask if we even have one, but yeah, let's do it.
Before we get into it, I do have a little question for chat. So, chat, here is your question for the week. So, you got a couple of photos, and you guys have to name the video game from the photos.
What the fuck?
Like, oh, I hope this isn't the quiz because I'm screwed.
I equals V divided by I. Oh my goodness. Good luck with that.
You got to know a little bit of maths and Roman numerals here, I think. All right, while chat's thinking about that, let's get into the quiz, guys. Hope, as you're our guest, I'm going to allow you to go first, and Joe will be going second. So today is a completely new format. We've never done this style before. The way it's going to work is I'm going to show you guys a photo. There'll be 2 photos, but we'll do one at a time. And you'll see this photo for 10 seconds. It'll be of a video game. And then I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about that video game. So you have to be very careful to look at the image and look at everything. So here is the first image. So both of you guys will be answering from the same image. So Joe, pay attention as well. All right, let's get into it with question number 1. Hop, this one is for you. What color is Donkey Kong's hat?
Oh, is he wearing a hat?
So
I said, is he wearing a hat?
He is wearing a hat.
All right. I'll go classic Nintendo red.
I'm sorry. I read the question wrong. It's Dixie Kong.
Dixie Kong. I'll go pink.
Look, the answer I have is purple, but that looks pink to me, so I'm going to give you a point.
Technicality, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm overruling your answer here, Pavel. I'm sorry. All right, Jack.
All right.
What shape is the object in the letter O in the name of the game?
Barrel?
Sorry?
Like a barrel? Like what shape?
Yeah,
like a barrel.
The O's have got a shape. It wasn't a barrel.
Oh.
Hand it over to you, Hop, for this too.
Gonna go a classic banana.
Wasn't a banana. So the answer we were looking for was a star. So that's all the answers for this first picture. So we can see we got the pink hat and we've got the stars in the O's.
Gotcha.
So we'll move on to the second one, and Joe, you'll be going first here. So this one's going to have 4 questions associated with it.
Okay.
We'll again show you guys the image for 10 seconds. Pay very good attention to it.
Chip, 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 bandels. Rescue rain, chip, 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 bandels. When there's danger, you know it never fails. They'll make the move. They'll find the ways and whys and woos. I'm not paying attention at all.
All right, first question. This one's multiple choice, Joe. How many apples are on the cover of this game? Was there 1, 3, or 6?
How many what?
Apples are on the front cover. 1, 3, or 6?
6.
6 is correct.
Duh. That's what I was like. Chip, 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 bandels. Counting apples.
All right, question 2. Hop, this one's for you. What color are the eyes of the Robo Dogs?
Oh, yellow.
Yellow is correct. Moving on to question number 3. Joe?
Impressive. I can't believe we're going to get any of these right.
What is holding the chip in his hand?
You mean who is or what is?
What is holding the chip in his hand?
The chip. Like the person chip, like Chip and Dale's, like who, or like an electronic.
I think it was what is Chip holding in his hand. I think that's what it was meant to be.
Ah, a dildo.
Not a dildo. Hopped?
You sure?
I know one of them was holding an apple, but I can't remember if it was Chip or Dale. So
Apple is incorrect. So we were looking for a tomato.
I was close.
All right. The final question. Hop, this one will be for you.
Yeah.
What country's name is written on the cover?
Remember, because I studied the thing in the corner. I'm going to go America, but it's probably not.
USA is correct.
Nice. Well done.
I'll show you guys the image quickly.
You know it never.
We've got Capcom USA. We've got the tomato. The apple tree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's the 6th one? The one at the top? Yeah.
See, Chip's holding it now. I mean, Dale's holding it. Wait, who's Chip? No, Dale's the one with the apple, and Chip has a tomato. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember who was who.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Too long.
At the end of today's quiz, Joe's finished on 1 point, but today's winner with 3 points goes to Hop. Well done, Hop.
Well done.
I don't know how I pulled that one out.
No one has gotten chat's question yet, guys. So, Brad has just jumped in the quiz, and Brad has correctly answered chat's question. Resistance, fall of man. Well done, Brad.
Okay.
Formula
for resistance. Oh my god.
I'll take your word for it.
R equals V over I, and then we have the fall of man. I mentioned it was tough. Well done, Brad. That was a tough one.
That's amazing. Yeah, I would have never.
Probably the hardest we've had at this point. Maybe the one of like 10 words.
You gonna put like the quadratic equation in there and shit? Fucking damn, man. This is. I thought we was talking about some games.
You gotta get it right. They get harder. That's how it works.
It's gonna in 3 weeks. It's gonna be like, I'm gonna give you 14 haikus, and you have to figure out which Nintendo Game Boy game. I'm like, what?
I'm gonna give you some math problem that hasn't been solved before.
That's right. It's gonna
and
be
to
like
get the question, you have to solve something that's never
it's
been
gonna be like
solved.
the board in Goodwill Hunting. Like, what the friggin' hell, man?
Oh, by the way, that question was worth $1 million. Too funny. You guys got any
Well
pickups
done.
or anything to show off today?
Yeah, I got some pickups.
Yeah. I've got a
You wanna go
few,
first, Jeff?
so-
Yeah, I'll go. I just got a couple little things, so yeah, I'll go. So I got Persona 5 Tactica.
Nice. Let's go.
We're talking about this the other day. This went on sale for $19.99, and the PS5 copy went on sale for $19.99, and this piece of crap was like $30. I don't know why, but the PS4 copies are more expensive than everything else right now. Just because it's the one I want. That's just how life goes. If I want it, it immediately goes up in price. Immediately, the second the thought pops into my head, I'm like, I feel like McDonald's. Price went up.
Has it still got the free PS5 upgrade on the front?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
I feel like
it says PS5 upgrade available. That doesn't mean it's free though. It just means that it is available. It doesn't say free upgrade available.
I feel like it comes down to the whole. They're suddenly making less PS4 copies, so supply and demand. You know, there's only a certain amount of PS4 copies. They've got thousands of Switch and PS5 copies to sell. So which ones are you going to discount? The ones that you got heaps of.
Whatever, lame-os. I don't know. That's not very good. So I got this one came in from Super Rare. This is the Tartarus Key.
Nice.
Yeah, this looks dope. This is actually a horror game, but it's in like PS1 aesthetic. So it's like a throwback horror design. Oh man, I think you can see it very well. But check out some videos online. It looks pretty cool. But it kind of gave me more of like a point and click puzzle horror type thing than an actual survival horror. So if you're looking for like Resident Evil remake or something, it's not like that. It's going to be like more of like a puzzle adventure game with freaky horror elements and stuff like that. Either way, definitely I'm getting like all of the super rare PS4 games. I can't imagine that's going to last a long time. I'm going to be shocked if they did that for a long time. Like, I feel like they'll probably just make Switch and PS5 games sooner rather than later. So I'm trying to get all of these.
They all come in nice slip covers. And
yeah, they do. They look nice. And if you have them all together too, they have that nice little logo at the top.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're cool. And then this, I was happy to get. We talked about this in the show. I got the
Ooh, nice.
The ESRB copy of Agalos. So there's a listing on Amazon that has these guys. It's a very specific one though, so you'll have to buy and figure out which one it is. No, I think they blew it up on the other podcast this evening. If you want to watch the PlayStation Ain't Dead podcast, they freaking told everybody where to get it. But it's on Amazon. You can pick that copy up. So basically, what the deal is with this is that this was like an unreleased version. There was never actually officially an ESRB release of this game. What happened, what people are speculating, is that it got printed and it got canceled, and the person who has the possession of these is just selling off their stock. But yeah, these are going to be very collectible, I feel, in the future. Unless they have like 50,000 of them they're selling, which I doubt. There's probably just like 1,000 of them out there.
They have at least 1,000. They may have more. Is there anything distinct about that listing so you can distinguish it from the other ones?
It's JAD Entertainment. JADD.
Okay, there you go, guys.
So it's a little more expensive than the other ones, but that is the one that I got a copy of. So I'm hesitant to say it just because if you guys go out and buy one and you don't get an ESRB one, I don't want to hear it. Don't bitch at me. That's just where I got mine. Okay.
Amazon got free returns.
Yeah, so I bought it from JAD Entertainment and I got the ESRB copy. So if that is what happens to you, that's great. If you get it from them and that's not what happens to you, that ain't my problem. But that's where I got mine.
So what's going on with this spare power copy you got? I'm gonna have to make a trade.
JADD. Cyrus, JADD. I'm just gonna keep it. Yeah. So I have both. Well, you can buy the PAL one on the regular Amazon PAL one for like $15 right now if you want a copy.
Not in Australia.
Oh, there's a way more. Okay.
Of course.
Yes, it's $19.99.
$15 for a brand new game. What world does this guy live in?
Yeah. I also own it on the Switch. So it's a great game too. Like it's actually legitimately a really fun game too. So it's not just collectible. And yeah, that's all I got. Those are my pickups.
Not any pickups, but as I started a couple of weeks ago, I'm showing you guys my entire PlayStation 1 collection I'm going to start with, and then we might move on to PS2 after that, but I'm doing like 5 or 6 games at a time. So we're up to B. So here we have, this one's called Ball Blazer Champions. It's kind of looks like Rocket League, but like the PS1 version. I'm going to show you guys. It's a very similar concept. You got a ball, you got to shoot it into the net. Like,
oh, it does look very like similar.
Yeah,
the arena
Rocket
style
League was inspired by this, right?
Mm-hmm.
This next one, I like the cover of this. It's pretty cool, but I can't pronounce it from the cover. So that's the cover. It's called
Bedlam.
Bedlam.
Yeah.
This is kind of like a Command and Conquer type game, I would say.
RTS.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody, you gotta love your RTSs on the old PS1.
That's where you want to play an RTS, right?
Oh yeah. The only thing better is good old StarCraft 64. Everybody wants to play StarCraft with an N64.
Well, it's expensive, so apparently. So the next couple of pretty cool games, I'll have to admit.
Nobody wants StarCraft 64 to play it. Like, nobody wants to play that game. Everybody just wants to own it because it was rare, because no one bought it, because it was, like, physically painful to play it with an N64 controller. It probably was, like, emotionally draining. All right,
and it was probably amazing for people that have never played an RTS before.
That's true. I know. It's probably wicked, like, simplified, and it's actually really fun. Who am I to say? Hey,
I mentioned before that PAL PS1 didn't get many JRPGs, but we did get a few. So here we have a Funsoft title, which is the company that merged with Squaresoft before Square Enix, I believe. Or am I wrong there? Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is Blaze and Blade.
Yeah, I don't think we got that game.
Absolutely beautiful looking title too.
I don't think we got that game in the US unless it had a different name.
They call it an action RPG, but it's clearly turn-based. Action RPG before the genre is actually a thing. So here we got another JRPG. This one's pretty cool. And it is Blazing Dragons.
Yeah, that's a good game. It's fun. That's the Cheech and Chong game, right? They all smoke weed.
Yeah. So next one is a really cool series. I do have the other one, but it sits under L, so you'll see that later on. So here we have Blood Omen, Legacy of Kain.
That's literally like one of my favorite PS1 games. So
yeah, love
that was one of the games that like I had to get a PlayStation. Like I told you that story about my buddy let me my stepbrother let me play Resident Evil, right? And scared the shit out of me or whatever. Anyway, so like the next day, that one of the games he had was that game, Legacy of Kain. And I was just like, this game is so metal. Holy shit, dude. You are drinking people's bloods and like killing innocent people in the village and drinking their... Oh my God. I've said this before, like PlayStation, like I couldn't believe how adult themed it was. You know what I mean? Like I thought, I coming off of Super Nintendo, I was like, kids games are just for kids. It's just Mario bopping on mushrooms and stuff. It's just silly kid stuff. You know what I mean? And then I saw Legacy of Kain. It was like, I will slaughter those and get revenge on everyone and murder them all and drink their blood. And I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Yeah, dude. I was like, hell yeah. Now we're talking. Yeah. So anyway. I get excited when I see that game, if you can't tell. Nice. I fucking love that game.
So I hope you get just as excited when you see this last game. So the final game today is Bratz.
Oh my God, that's the number one reason I bought a PlayStation. I was like, this is the most metal shit of all.
And that's the games that I've got to show for you today. So we got some pretty exciting games coming up. Like probably the most exciting games coming up. And if you know, you know. I'm sure you can work it out from what letter we're up to in the alphabet.
Bratz 2?
Can't wait to see that one.
See, guys.
Good luck following up Bratz, Hop. All right. Good
Oh.
luck.
Well, it's a pretty similar game, but I picked up Tekken 5. So, you know, Bratz Tekken hand in hand, you know. But yeah, it's been really fun. It seems like a really good evolution on Tekken 7, and yeah, it's just been real. Like the visuals are just amazing. So I'm checking out that one.
Yeah, my roommate got it, and he's been trying to egg me on into getting it, and I might have to get it. If he's gonna actually play it, I'm like, all right, I'll play it. If I can beat the shit out of you all the time, then I'll play it.
Good luck, because the AI is beating the shit out of me at the moment. So
can't wait.
I also picked up Tachaya. So it's a little indie-ish game on PlayStation, made by like 12 people. So Breath of the Wild type game. So thought I'd pick up the physical for that, even though it's on streaming.
Have you played the spin-off, the Koa and the Seven Islands?
No, I haven't played it, but I've got it, I think.
It's good.
So yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played. I have both games. I haven't played Tachia, but I got Koa, and it's fantastic. It's like a little 3D action platformer game. It's really good. Highly recommend.
Nice.
So I'm assuming Tachia is very good too. I just haven't played it. So.
Nice. Then I've got a bunch of Switch. So I'll probably just speed run them, but I got a Akami physical. It was on Amazon for $20, so couldn't go past that. I own it digitally, but there's problems. Grandia HD 1 and 2 collection. One of my favorite PS1 games, Grandia. So
I know. I wish they'd just thrown 3 on there too, but
Akami's a beautiful game, by the way. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've only played a little bit of it, but it's it's literally a playable art piece. So
such a good art style in that game. I love it.
I got Lingrissa 1 and 2. So 1 I haven't hardly seen, so popped up on local CX.
So Hop, that's exactly what I was talking about before. That's a $10 game in the UK, but if you want the Australian version, it's like $100. Why?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like this one obviously was €1, but I'm just happy to have it because it's impossible to find physically here. So
and you save yourself $100.
That just got reprinted on the Switch by VGP, and they
really?
Yes, and they haven't reprinted the PS4 version, and I'm hoping they don't. You bastards! I own that one. Don't reprint it. Come on, leave it alone. Leave it alone.
One I hadn't heard of NIS Destiny Connect TikTok Travelers, so don't know how much TikTok or dancing will be in this one, but I loved like these little NIS games, so thought I'd just check this one. It was pretty cheap.
It was one that went under the radar. Like I didn't find it until a couple of years after it came out. That was like a 2016 or 2017 release.
Yeah,
that's
I
RPG,
forgot
right?
it came out.
Yeah.
Little RPG, looks turn based. I only popped it in for a couple moments, but it was pretty fun.
It looked cool. I've seen I haven't played it, but I've pretty sure that's come across my radar before.
Sword Art Online, another one that's been very hard just to find in Australia. It was $10 one day and then it was gone. So
Hollow Resurrection.
Hollow Realization. So all the sequels are pretty readily available, but this one has just disappeared for some reason. Bumped up to like $60, $70 here, which is crazy.
It was one of those series that I had to get all of them, like as soon as I found out.
Yeah, exactly. And then finally, I picked up another code, Recollection. So the remakes of the DS games. So pretty stoked that they've, added these to the Switch and get them off those consoles. And I think 2 wasn't released outside of Japan. I think it was a Japan exclusive. Could be wrong on that one. So, and then this is the one I'm currently playing at the moment, Prince of Persia. I know we touched on it before, but it's a fantastic game. I'm really loving it. And on the Switch, it runs surprisingly well. Like it's 60 FPS, no stuttering or anything. So yeah.
It does look like a Switch game, though. Let's be honest.
I mean, yeah.
I get that's probably the wrong way of putting it. If I was to play it, it looks like a game I would prefer to play on the Switch because it doesn't have to be on the TV, you know.
I really think they
Cyrus
made a
said it was
mistake by not.
created for the Switch and ported. So there you go.
So I've heard rumors that was not a Prince of Persia game. That was actually supposed to be a spin-off of gosh, what the hell was that game? What's it called? That like Greek mythology looking game that didn't sell that well. Shit.
I hadn't lost it. The Breath of the Wild type one.
Yes, exactly. Phoenix Rising or something like that. It's called.
Yeah, Immortals.
Like Immortal Phoenix. Yes, Immortals Phoenix. I've heard that was just supposed to be a spin-off of that, and since that didn't do that well, they just reskinned it as the Prince of Persia game. And I don't know if that's true, but if that is true, that would make some sense. And I just really think the price point was wrong. I just feel like if they had offered that game for $30, I would have bought the Switch and the PS5 copy day one. I would have bought 2 copies, but because it's $50, I'm waiting. I'm not buying it. And like, I don't know. I feel like saying that the game sold 2 million copies and it, would be more of a selling point than having it be $50 and sell 1 million copies or whatever, or 500,000 copies.
Well, it sold 500,000, and apparently that wasn't enough. No,
that's not enough. I think Metroid Dread did like 2.5 million or something like that, to 3 million or something like that. Not even. So I don't know. I just think Ubisoft is, I don't know. They've lost, like, their name doesn't carry the same weight. And I think people are tired of Assassin's Creed.
Ubisoft could put out a AAA game tomorrow. I'm going to wait for it to go on sale because it's an Ubisoft game. Like, that's just the reputation they've built. They put out games every year, so you don't have to wait. You just wait for the new one to come out, and suddenly the old one's cheap.
Did they get over 3 million, Cyrus? Yeah. So, no, you're right. You're right. It's just like one of those games where, like, I don't know why wait. I did pick up Valhalla though, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That looked fun.
Valhalla's a great game. You can put 300 hours into that. Like,
it's really good, but really long. Like, it's definitely padded out a lot. Like, I made the mistake of like getting burnt out on all the side stuff and putting like 20, 30 hours into it. I'm like, oh, hang on, this isn't ending anytime soon. So, but yeah, it's a really solid game though.
But then it comes back to the whole like value for money. You can't argue that game isn't giving you value for money. It's almost like people are complaining that it's got too much content. I'm sure there's people out there that's the only game that they own, and they're having a great time playing it.
Well, that's what they're hoping for. Is they want someone who literally like buys just the Assassin's Creed every year, and that's the only game they play. That's the type of gamer they want. Those people are out there. It's the people who just buy Madden, every Madden that comes out, every Assassin's Creed that comes out. They just buy the same game over every golf game that comes out. That's what they do.
Yeah, it's easy to do that with a sport game though, because you can play a sport game forever. When you've got a single player game, you have to put in content that you can play it consistently, and that's very hard. Because even if you put in something that is unique all the time, like it's hard to get a unique experience in a single player game after 200, 300, 400 hours.
Yeah, and then I think unfortunately the biggest demographic is it's people who aren't good at games. That's you know what I mean, like. That's one of the things I hate is that the more a company makes a game tailored to my taste, the more it will not succeed. Because I'm like, no, make it hard. No, make it miserable. No, make it suck. So nobody else can make it terrible. That's what I want. Like, and they're like, yeah, but then nobody else will play it, dude. Nobody else wants this crap. And that's how we get Final Fantasy 16. I'm over here complaining because I'm like, I'm just rolling through this game, and I mean, I guess I could make it harder. I could take off some gear. I could not use potions or whatever, but I don't know. It just seems like maybe if something defeats me, I have to think about it maybe twice, and then I can beat it. And just oh, I just have to dodge these 2 moves that are killing me over and over. Okay, just keep an eye out for this, and we're good. And that's it. It's I don't know.
I completely understand why they do that, though, because if they make it too hard, 90% of the player base will get stuck on a boss and not finish it, because that's just how people are these days. They
I don't
need to
even
make
want
it so everyone plays through the game, and when they get stuck, they've invested that much time in it that they will beat that boss and continue playing it, or different things like that. No, everyone's like us, Joe. They don't like punishment.
That's why I thought it was such an odd move that they put the hard mode behind finishing the game. Like the odds of that you want to go through, and especially a game of that length as well. Like, you want to play it hard right from the get-go. And if it's not like, if you're like, oh, this is too hard, restart it, in an easier difficulty. But like to hide it behind the full game completion was a very odd move to me. So yeah, it was
It's
a
a
bit of
thing
a
that's
weird
happened a
one.
lot in the past, but usually that's reserved for smaller games that you can beat in a few hours. That when you do beat it, you've got the skills to play hard mode and different things like that. But yeah, I'm the type of person that if I've sunk 100 hours into a JRPG, there's no way I'm replaying it again for basically the same experience. Just a few more enemies here and there, or a little bit more health on the boss.
But it's harder and less fun.
Yeah, but you'd be better skilled at that point, so it wouldn't be harder and less fun. You're just better at the game,
It's true. Yeah, and like most of the JRPGs, like you end up with just like the spell rotation that you use, at least the ARPGs, which is why I miss the strategy of the old games. Like I liked being like, oh, this is the dungeon with the poison frogs that are going to cast poison 3 million times. I better stock up on antidotes. Something as stupid and simple as that made the game more fun and more immersive to me. Like I like that about the RPGs, like the actual RPG part of it, where you know what I mean, or like getting lost in a dungeon. That's that just doesn't happen anymore. You just these games, that's not how it works. You just go straight.
Not just
like
that.
A thing over there. There's like a thing over there.
A dungeon without the map telling you where it is isn't a thing that happens much anymore. So I think Elden Ring and Tears of the Kingdom did such a good job with their open worlds. They just threw in this massive open world. Anything you've seen, you can go to. You just have to go there. And they didn't tell you where anything is. You got to work it all out yourself. And the more you try and look for things, the more you're rewarded, which is amazing.
Yeah. And I like that because, gosh, it's very satisfying when you like put in the time and effort to explore and are rewarded for it. That's a good feeling, man. When you're like, I could have just skipped through this, but you're like, you know what? I didn't. I want to see what's in there. What's that little thing? Looks like I could fit through there. Oh my God, is that a crack in the wall? Oh my God, can I break that? Holy crap. Oh my God, look, I found a cloak. Hell yeah, look at this thing. It's blue. Heck yeah, look badass.
You open a door and the door leads back to some locked door that you found 30 hours ago. And it's like, oh, that door just opened and now I've unlocked that shortcut. And so when games don't have fast travel. As soon as you put fast travel in a game, mechanics like that mean nothing.
Yep, and that's a huge point you just made too. That like old RPG design, they always used to put like right at the beginning of the game, they would show you areas that you cannot get to, like that you cannot access, like locked treasure rooms or like bosses you can't fight or like something that you cannot do. That later on in the game, 30, 40 hours later, you can come back and you can do that. And that feels so good when you're like, oh, yeah, I'm going in that freaking room. I got the magic key. I'm going in there now. I can unlock that door and get the freaking badass armor that's been sitting there the whole game. I don't know, like...
Lies of P did that really well. When you start Lies of P, like the main hub is this hotel, and you go around the hotel and there's all these locked doors everywhere. You play through the game and suddenly you start opening all these doors, and they give you keys for other ones, and it just feels so good when you get to that point. You feel like I have accomplished something. I've unlocked this, and I'm way further than I was a few hours ago, even though you might be.
Yeah, the I don't know about Lies of P specifically. I haven't played it yet, but like the Souls games and Elden Ring and all that, they do a great. They're the best exploration games there are. Like by far. Like, and I also really like that. You can go whatever way you want. You walk into a place and it's like, where do you want to go? You want to try to go up? You want to go trying to go down the hallway and fight the giant fat dude? Do you want to go down the elevator and fight these dudes? Where do you want to try to go? And you're like, I don't know. Let's try the fat dude. And he whoops my ass. I'm like, all right, let's try downstairs. Let's try it out. Just walking around. And then you may find like a weapon that helps you kill that guy or something like that. And yeah, those games are so much fun, dude. But
those games have a mechanic that I really love, and they use it for mini bosses. So in those games, you got your main bosses, right? And you beat a main boss and the main boss is gone. But they'll have a lot of mini bosses or just really hard enemies that if you try and fight this guy, you're basically done for. Like if you beat him, you got no health flasks left, you're struggling. But a lot of these enemies, if you beat them once, they disappear and they're permanently gone. So it gives you that incentive to try and beat that really hard guy, because then you make that part of the level easy and I can run through and get to the boss now without having to fight him. And yeah, I just love doing that. I'll give up, sacrifice it all on these little mini bosses just to beat them, and then make the level better and clear the world of all these mini bosses before I take on the main boss. And yeah, I love it.
Yeah, sometimes you have to. Yeah, I can't even tell you how many times in those games, like, my strategy ended up being, just freaking run! Just fucking run! Screw all that! Just get to the boss! Like, that would be
I used to have this thing, Joe, where I would not be happy with a level until I killed every single person in that level, because there might be one item that I missed from someone dropping something, and I'd have to do it with every Souls game I played. Every enemy has to be killed at least once.
You should look into becoming an executioner. You'd be thorough. You'd be a good job for you. Like, we need 10 people killed today. Figsy's like, well, I'm not stopping until all 10 are roasted.
Only 10? There's 12 in this room.
I know. What about him? He looks guilty. Put him in the chair. What you do, mate? You cheating on your wife? Get in there. That's good. Sorry. I appreciate that completionist attitude.
Never start the charity, guys.
I have that weird obsession too. Like when I play a lot of like shmups and stuff like that, like realistically, you should just be focusing on surviving most of the time. But I'm like, no, I need to survive and kill all these motherfuckers. Like, I want to, like, same as you. Like, I'm like, no, I need to blow up this ship. I can't just let him fly by me. And Don says, no, he needs to die. I have to figure out a strategy that makes him dead. Like, and I'll spend an hour trying to figure that out instead of just like getting out of the way. Sometimes that really is the answer. I watch the professionals play and I'm like, oh, they just skip all that. Oh, I'm probably smarter than sitting there and feel like, die! Everyone must die. No one shall live. Like, yeah.
You ever play Hitman? And the idea is to like go in there stealthily and take it.
No.
When I go in there, everyone dies. No witnesses.
That's one way to do it.
There'll be like one gardener like a kilometer away. I'm getting him. He might tell.
So Figsy be like, what was that? Order 66? Oh, yeah.
There's a mission on the PS3 version of Hitman Absolution. And there's like 500 people in this one area, and you can kill every single one of them. I used to think that was way worse than the Call of Duty no Russian thing that they used to do. But no one talked about it. Because it wasn't a main mission. It just, the game let you do that.
No one talked about it because you're the only one who did that, you sicko.
No, I've spoken to people and they did the same thing. Because the mission's a pain in the ass to walk around and the crowd doesn't let you through. So it's almost like the game wants you to do that.
That's one way to get there quicker. They have a Hitman games. They ported them all to VR. I don't know if you know that. Hitman 1, 2, and 3. You can play those on
I'm
PS4
not a fan on how they released those games. They released the games half the game, and then the DLC Game of the Year will be out soon, and you had to play like one chapter at a time. I bought the new one day one, and the final mission was $10. You couldn't. The mission that was on the front cover, you couldn't play it. It was $10. The day the game came out. The game came out, and there was DLC to play the final mission of the game. Like, I paid full price for this shit.
No, that's pretty evil.
It was the Killing Hitler mission. The trailer was based off. Like, are you fucking serious? It'd be like playing an JRPG, and it's like, you've made the final boss of the game. If you want to fight this guy, pay $15. Like,
No, screw that, dude.
I didn't pay it. I finished the 9 missions of the game, got to the final point, and sold it. Because I'm not fucking paying DLC for a brand new game. Like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, and that's just freaking bullshit. It's not even on the disc anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you're buying like I can't stand that anyway. Like I said, I went through that with that Life is Strange game. Like, the last episode wasn't on the disc, so I ended up ordering the Japanese copy because it is on the disc. So it's just
Well, the
like
Telltale games, if you buy them day one, you don't get a full game. You got to wait for the rest of it to come out.
Yeah, it's like I think is it the Game of Thrones? I think the Game of Thrones Telltale game is like nothing on the disc. It's like
Batman's the
season
same.
pass.
Yeah.
It's like just absolutely nothing on the disc at all.
It's like, are you
So-
buying a game at that point, or are you just renting a TV series? You got to wait for episode 2 to drop, guys.
But that's why I always got, like, for fighting games, like when they announce the character passes before the game is even out, it's like, hang on, you have this ready to go. Like, it just feels a bit weird. And I know they need to make their money and, you know, have it as an ongoing live service game, but like, especially when it's like in 1 month it's dropping, it's like, come on, guys. Like,
Yeah, ruined fighting games for me, because my favorite part about fighting games was like Tekken 3, for example, playing through the game 10 times to unlock all the characters. That was the best part. Not, here's all the characters, there's 10 more and you got to buy them. All right, I just won't play it. Sorry. Like,
Dude, it's like 70 to the game, and I think it's like 100 for the season pass for just the first year. For just the first year. And like, I think they do like 4 characters a year or some shit like that. So you're paying like $25 per character. And that's just for the first year. And so let's say they do like 2 or 3 season passes. I'm like, you're talking like $400 on this game. I'm sorry, am I getting $400 worth of entertainment out of this game? I don't know, man. I could buy a lot of games for $300-$400, dude. I could wait till a Steam sale goes down and goddamn, can I buy a lot of games for $300-$400? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That's just
see, these companies don't want people like us who play their games. They want someone who is going to live in their game for the next
play just that
2,
game. Yeah,
3 years. Like, that's their game. And $30 for this thing I spend 3,000 hours on? Perfect. Like, you know, you can justify that. Like, I pay for GeoGuessr, and in my head, it's like $3 a month. I'm like, oh, I play it 12 hours a day. Like, that makes, of course, that makes sense. But for someone who plays it once a month, it doesn't make any sense, you know. Just wants to try it or come along here. So, like, they're really going to alienate their player bases in doing this. And it's throughout all games these days. Like, if you check out Fortnite, it's got a season pass. If you check out Call of Duty, I'm sure there's got a season pass. I heard that Overwatch had 2 season passes running at once. Overwatch 2. What?
yeah.
I guess it's
Overwatch.
different for
Go ahead.
those ones that are $0 entry, like Fortnite and Overwatch. Like, you don't really have that, you know, what do you call it, cost to get in the game. But, you know, games that, you know, want you to keep playing it, that you're paying full retail for, it just doesn't make sense. Like, and I think to really go with your point, like, that's probably one of the biggest flaws of modern gaming, is every game franchise or game release wants you to spend that be your only single game. And like, it's just not feasible for in this age. I think, like, how many people play a single game a year? Probably not that well. In the hardcore gaming space, probably not.
Honestly,
But,
there is a lot. There's a lot of people that just play one game, and I've fallen back into I've played one game for the last 6 months now, and I'm playing it every day. And you know, I'm right now in this season, I'm ranked like 80th in the world, and I want to keep playing it because I keep seeing that rise in rank and different things like that. So it's a good feeling, and when you are in like a community like that, you meet all these different people, and it's fun. And yeah, I've been in the other side where I'm playing, you know, 5 games a month, and that's fun too. So it's definitely got its pros and its cons. And what sucks is when a game that's $60 tries to take the model of a free game, and implements it in its game. Like, you know, people that play Fortnite have the exact same experience as people that play Call of Duty, but they just skip the whole $60 entry point.
Speaking of games, you just play one game. My sister came and dropped these off. She found these at the house the other day. My original expansions, the OG ones. I don't have the base game apparently. I must have just got the digital one, but I did actually. These were like I stood in line overnight at the midnight release thing, waiting to get these things. So she dropped those off. It made me happy. And she found my hold on, the actual Frozen Throne games too.
Fuck yeah.
Which I'm actually pretty excited to have these because, like, I guess Blizzard ruined these now. They made them the remastered versions, and like you can't play these technically or some shit like that. I don't know, but I'm glad to have the actual original games. So I'm assuming if I install these offline on a computer, I can play them. Anyway. Sorry, just speaking of games that I'm like, oh, you want a game that you never stop playing? That's this one.
I stand corrected.
So I've been down that road where like I've been that guy who wanted the one game that never ended. But after a few years of doing that, like all it did is give me a massive sense of loss and like waste of time because I'm just like, oh, damn, dude, I could have played 1,000 different games, or God knows, just done something else with my time. I don't know, like
it's almost like you have to become a content creator if you're going to spend that much time. Like, you know, I'm spending all this time, but in my head, I'm like, I can now make good content, and a lot of people want to watch it because it's like top tier content of the games and different things like that.
Well, that's where I'm so stupid. I was in like a US top 50 freaking Warcraft guild, and I should have been streaming that crap. But like, it was like back then, like we were always going for server firsts and stuff like that. And so like, we didn't want people to be copying our strategies and stealing our ideas and stuff to try to steal kills from us. So like, they didn't want us to like, my guild, like didn't really like want us streaming while we were doing, you know, attempts. So we could have streamed after we got the kills and we're just doing our regular weekly clears or whatever. They probably wouldn't have cared, but I don't know. It was also just my computer was always a goddamn potato. I was playing like on a laptop most of the time. Like I couldn't have freaking streamed. You know, it would have just not conducive.
But if you could have went back and you knew you were going to sink 10,000 hours in, it would have been so much better to just sit there.
I had some like top 10 world parses for a little while on some fights. So yeah, people would have been interested in what I was doing. Yeah, I also had the legendary freaking staff. Like I'm like the only boom kid in the world who had one, so it was pretty nice. like most boomkins did not get one of those as fast as I did. I was like the third or fourth person in the guild because I was an officer and I was like always there.
Nice.
Yeah, everybody else, it was mages and warlocks got those things forever. Like the space chickens were way down on the list. But I was like we had like an insanely good elemental shaman in our guild too. She used to get like top 10 parses like all the time. It was amazing. And so we used to give her any gear she wanted because it's like, you obviously know what you're doing, so we'll give it to you. You're in the top 10 all the time, so here you go.
Yeah, and they're probably winning and getting you stuff, so it's worth it, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Look after people that look after you.
Yeah, you do. You want to. So believe it or not, like, you think having like gear go to all the tanks and the healers is the smart thing to do. It's really not. In World of Warcraft, it was actually about gearing the hell out of your DPS. So you could just push the phases insanely fast so you didn't have to deal with any of the bad bullshit. So the idea is that like there was always like one phase in every fight that would give you like tons of trouble. So if you just DPS the hell out of that phase and like blew your bloodlust, you could just skip it. And so that was ultimately like how most fights worked, is you would just find like which is the worst part of the fight, and then all we got to do is figure out the other parts. And then we get to this part, everybody just stand still and blow all your cooldowns and freaking melt his face. Oh God, we don't want to have any meteors come out. Just kill him. And so once we figured out, if you could push him in a minute and you could skip this whole phase, you could beat the fight pretty easily. That type of stuff.
Nice.
So
But that's
all about
teamwork and everyone doing it together, and trial and error the first few times.
And the strategies would be like, we're all standing in one spot and there's this little tiny pinpoint you can stand on. If you stand anywhere else, you kill everybody. So don't fuck up, and that would be the strategy. Like, hey, you could kill everybody if you screwed up. So it was just like constant.
The
like,
amount of effort that went into planning these things, like wars haven't been fought with the effort that went into some of these things.
Oh man, this blood, sweat, and tears, and the yelling, and the screaming, and the shame, and the shame. Did you blow up the raid again? Yes, I'm so sorry.
No.
My little brother came in the room and he was throwing stuff at me. My dad was yelling, I don't want to hear it. You're out. Go sit. Think about what you've done.
On that note, Joe, we might call that one a show. Thanks so much for coming on, man. Once again, let us know your social media so everyone can go and check you out. What's the link again?
Yeah, no, thanks guys for having me on. It's been really good. So yeah, my username is just Hpok Gaming on pretty much YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that jazz. So yeah, really appreciate anyone checks out the stuff, and yeah. But yeah, thank you again for having me on. It's been really cool.
No, it was a blast.
Thanks for
It's
coming
always
on.
good to have another Aussie on here.
We gotta stick together, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
Oh, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you guys on the next one, first Friday, wherever you are in the world. Have a good one. Peace.
Night, everybody.
You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation Collecting Nerds, and come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world, and show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh at needs, gonna listen dreams, gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready, you got one more chance.